over 30, dealing with scientific research and development. Focus on areas like medical, mining, sustainable energy, road infrastructure. We cannot work in isolation. Sudbury has many talented people that can be encouraged to work on major research projects to attract jobs to Sudbury. We have to make Sudbury an inviting place to come and invest in research and development. Let's embrace them. Low-cost industrial research parks that produce new jobs are the future. Thank you.
Growing the city's economy is a key to tackling our infrastructure deficit. Over the last 10 months, I've visited many of the businesses in Ward 9, and a lot of them are involved in technology and some mining supply and services that are being exported all over the world. We have to get behind these kinds of companies. These kinds of companies are bringing new money into our community, and the more they export, the richer we get, and the more we grow, the more they can employ people so that they come to our city so they can pay their taxes, so that we can fix our infrastructure deficit. We need to focus on what we're good at. I'm going to propose a big, hairy, audacious goal, and that we be the global center for mining innovation, not just the provincial center or the Canadian center, but the global center for mining innovation in Sudbury. We need to play to our strengths. We are good at mining, and we should play to that strength. We need to create an environment that enables growth. We should use the development charges are charged in a cookie-cutter manner. And I think we need to reduce development charges in certain areas, increase them in others, so that we can enable businesses to settle where we want them to settle, and discourage where we don't want them to, where we don't want development. Out in the outlying areas, we need the people to work inside, so we can reduce development charges for industrial parks, so that we encourage them to come to Sudbury and set up their businesses here. We need to reduce the red tape of the city. We need to have timelines for site development plans. Thank you very much. We need to broaden our capacity. We need to work, the government needs to work with all levels of government, the four school boards, the post-secondary institutions, the hospital. We all need similar things a lot of the times, and we need to work together. We need to look at value-added products. For example, stainless steel. We could take the ore that we're developing into nickel, and the nickel can be used right here in Sudbury. We should also be asking ourselves...
Thank you very much, yeah.
Yes, okay.
You guys are well behaved, though. Thank you. It's good. This is great. Second question, and thank you for the answers. Those are very thoughtful answers. Based on the services that are currently provided, what are the strategies that you would implement to increase the value of our tax dollar? And I'll read one more time. Based on the services that are currently provided, what are the strategies you would implement to increase the value of our tax dollar? And we start with you, Mr. McKenna. I'm sorry, no, Aaron, I'm sorry. I made a mistake there. Am I allowed? Aaron Beaudry.
So, if you take a look at the services that the city does provide, we can do a much better job. As for roads and construction, I will work to ensure all construction contracts tendered for main roads and intersections have a 24-hour work continuation clause. This will decrease the amount of time people are stuck in traffic and decrease the negative effect on the business owners that are located in the construction areas. We have a limited time to complete the road work because of our climate, but that work can be done more efficiently, and it will be up to the city managers to ensure that they fulfill our expectations, because congestion is not just an inconvenience anymore. Congestion in our city is a real problem, and this is one way of easing it. I will also advocate for proper sporting infrastructure in Ward 9. I believe in order to keep kids off the streets and out of trouble, we need to provide the proper amenities for them to develop their skills. Arenas and sports complexes moving forward will be developed in partnerships with the private sector, so we can have world-class facilities, all while being able to collect property tax revenue and reducing the cost to the taxpayer. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, as the old saying goes, the question invites, how do we get a better bang for our buck? And that is something I believe that we do work on fairly strongly, and maybe not strongly enough, but we do we do have to do more work in that area, and the right way to get a better bang for our buck is to make sure that we're getting new businesses to relocate here. But there's also some bigger pictures that we have to do here, we have to look at here, and it's called resource-based sharing. For every ton of gravel that comes out of a quarry now, or a gravel pit in Sudbury, we get 7 cents a ton. The government gets 13 cents a ton. For every ton of ore that comes out of the ground here in Sudbury, Queen's Park gets 100%, we get 0. There's something wrong with that picture, and we got to change that. And I believe with the proper political leadership, and never give up, is say, we are going to pound on Queen's Park doors until we get that changed. And that can be changed, but it's going to take a community effort. Not one person, not a city council. It's going to take Sudbury as a whole, and maybe even Northern Ontario as a whole, because we're not the only mining town in Northern Ontario. So we have to reach out to our community partners like Timmins, Thunder Bay, and those areas to come on board. And let's go to Queen's Park and let's say, this is not acceptable, and we can grow our tax dollars humongously that way. Because when we can get 7 cents on a ton of gravel, how many tons of ore comes out of the ground? Hundreds and thousands of tons of ore a year. If we could get some return on that dollar, it would really serve us well. At this point in time, we get a pittance. Thank you.
So how would I spend tax money more efficiently? There's a number of things we can do here. The money that the city spends, we have to remember it's our money. It has to be spent wisely, it has to be spent effectively. There's a link between auditing the way the money's spent and better city services. It is the auditor that helps keep us honest in the way that we spend our money and keeps it transparent. I support a permanent auditor general, which result in better stewardship of our tax dollars. I would hold the line on tax increases. Year after year, our taxes go up, and there's not a link between our taxes going up and better services and better infrastructure. I don't see, and when I talk to people in our ward, I know there's not a connection made with increased taxes resulting in better roads and better delivery of services. We need to look at the way that we deliver services in some of the outlying areas. I have a place, my wife and I have a cottage in Gordon Township on Manitoulin Island, south of Gore Bay. They have a transfer station there. We have some of the lowest taxes on the entire Manitoulin Island because we bring our recycles and our garbage to the transfer station. This used to be done in Sudbury. This used to be done some time ago, and taxes, there was a trade-off. The taxes were lower. Road construction. In the summertime, we could extend the hours of road construction. I wouldn't support 24 hours a day, but I would support extended hours during daylight. You can justify that to people, and you can justify that to businesses, that the businesses affected that are hurt severely because of roads being under construction for months and months and months and delays. We have to expect better than that. So, thank you.
Simply put, I think we need to eliminate the business as usual attitude that exists at City Hall. On a $500 million budget, we need to start cleaning up house. The audit committee is, the city audit committee is really the full council. That's the 12 ward councillors and the mayor. And they are the folks that really give the direction to the Auditor General's office to do the audits that take place, and I think that needs to continue. I attended both of the presentations by the Auditor General this year, and the savings in the recommendations from those two reports in themselves is nothing to sneeze at. The waste collection, which we've heard about and during the campaign, is one of them. The other was the tendering process. Hundreds of thousands of dollars can be saved. Full council, therefore, to clean up house, full council, which is the city council, needs to go right at task, right from the get-go when new council is formed, and start the process. Right now, the Auditor General's office is closed down, so you know, we're missing the opportunity to do the staff work and pre-audits before 2015. Anyway, that needs to happen very quickly. We need to start selling the non-essential buildings. We've got many buildings that the city owns. One of the buildings is at 189 Larch Street, right across from Provincial Buildings. I think there's only one tenant in there. We need to review things like our fleet vehicles. Are they energy efficient? And also, why are we leasing cars for senior management? They need to set the example. Invest in better IT infrastructure is another one, and of course our transit services need upgrading, but we can get money from the province and the federal government. Folks, there's an election coming up, a federal election, and we're going to be the first people knocking at the door when the money starts coming through.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We can increase the value of our tax dollar by controlled spending. Look at each area to make sure the money is spent wisely. We all have examples of money not spent wisely, from $5 million on an amphitheater to $100,000 on dog parks. What about our children's playgrounds? Do the jobs properly the first time. When I drive down to Kingsway, I feel like I'm in the movie Groundhog Day. Every 2 years, we remove the curbs, replace the curbs. Remove the asphalt, replace the asphalt. We need more controls on the quality of paving, or we will never have money for any other areas of the city. Each department must look for ways to enhance the dollar spent. A savings of 1% in each area would free up around $5 million for improving our services. Thank you.
Council's first order of business is to set clear goals for our city with a strategic plan on how to reach those goals. Then we shall evaluate the services that we are offering right now against that plan. We need to fully adopt the technologies that are available to us. We need to fully adopt the PeopleSoft software that the city has in order to ensure that there are no overpayments. We should be recording all the 311 calls to determine where the problems are so that we can solve them so the calls stop coming in. We should develop a new city website for the same purpose that if you can find the information online, which is where most people want to find it, they won't pick up the phone and be calling the roads department to ask yet another question and keeping them from the work they're supposed to be doing. We need to review what and how we deliver services and their effectiveness. We need to have a business plan prior to the budget allocations to any new large infrastructure development. We need to have a plan to show that the net results of this work is actually going to benefit us in the end. We need to investigate the potential of P3s, private-public partnerships, regarding the want-to-haves versus the need-to-haves. It's my hope that Council will employ fiscal responsibility and business skills at the Council table to make the best use of resources and balance the city's budget.
First of all, we must review city departments and find efficiencies. You know, it really bothers me when we have senior management, they're all making over $100,000, and we're always going to seek out consultants, okay? I understand at times we might need consultants, but we are going overboard in regards to this. You know, I feel that what we have to do is work with our staff and make sure that we try and do everything in-house. Consultants are basically protecting staff members, okay? What they're saying is, you go to the staff member or the manager and you say, well, look, this is what happened not that long ago. And the first thing they say is, oh, we had a consultant. Go see the consultant. Get the answers from the consultant. The other thing is our roads. I've traveled 537 numerous times in the last 4 years. And I'll tell you, you know, when we speak about roads, chip and tar. Okay, I remember this past summer. They're doing it every 3 years now. Cars are driving by, dust. Cars are getting damaged. They're going to the city trying to get claims. And it only lasts for about 3 years. Why don't we lay 2 inches of asphalt? It might be 15% more, okay, and will last for about 10 or 15 years. Now, every 3 years, we're chipping and tarring on 537. That's only one example. And we have to find efficiencies in those areas. The tendering process, you know, we really have to focus on tendering. You know, here we are, we're sending out tenders. We have an allocation of buying 2 snowplows. Next thing you know, the manager is buying 3 snowplows. Why? All this has to stop, and as councillors, we have to follow up with management. We have to be there and guide them. They are very important. I don't agree on getting rid of staff. Staff is important. I've had the opportunity of working with staff for the last 4 years. And I tell you, you work with them. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I would like to leave a lot more time for the floor questions. So the next question, it'll be just a 1-minute answer, please. And we're going to start with Wyman on this one. Am I right this time? I am right this time. Good. Yeah. Christian's one line is nothing. Anyways, what is the most important issue you see in your ward? So what is the most important issue you see in your ward?
Thank you. Well, in 60 seconds or less, there's no doubt that the issues in our ward here in Ward 9, for the most part, are our roads, our infrastructure, and they have been neglected, not only by this municipal government, by many municipal governments before. And now we need a total rebuild and overhaul. We need bridge repairs like crazy. We got bridges that are condemned, and we need that done. We need that fixed. When a senior can't walk out of her home and walk down the sidewalk, she has to walk out into the flow of traffic in order to take a short walk, because the bridge has been fenced off for about 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, and that is just not acceptable in 2014. That is totally unacceptable. That is what we got to do. We got to work on that, and we got to get that moving. Now I've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes and a lot of push behind the scenes, and I think we're going to get some action on that very soon, at least on a couple of them. And so I'm certainly hopeful that we can take care of some of those major issues. Thank you.
1 minute's pretty fast, eh? I've talked to a lot. I'll do it as fast as I can. I've talked to lots of people in the ward before we can address taxes, roads, transit. The most important thing that needs to be addressed is our council. We have to fix city council. We have to get new people, new ideas, and a new way of doing business. And how are we going to do that? We have to increase the transparency. Everybody has a computer nowadays. Put your voting records online. Let people see how your councillor is voting. Put the agenda